Hey, everybody. Good day to you. If you're on the West Coast of the United States, it's morning. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Thanks for joining me. I'm Odie, or Odinato Crypto, as you all know me. And I am solo today. We're going to give this a shot. I have no guests that are scheduled, but the regular culprits are always welcome to join. And I'll throw it out there. I used to throw it out there, and because nobody was really jumping in, I stopped. But if you want to join me up here, talk about whatever, that's fine. I'd be glad to have you up here. No problem. Just let me know. I can put the link in the chat or send it to you. But yeah, today is Wednesday, September 20th. Holy crap, we are most of the way through September. I didn't see that coming. I was thinking just the other day, Christmas and the holiday season, for those that celebrate that, it's just 2 months away. In the United States, that would be, for the average person, less than 8 paychecks left to go. Yeah. Oh, actually, around less than 4. Excuse me, less than 4. I guess I don't have math. But yeah, that's going to be crazy. So if the holidays are something that you celebrate at that time of the year, though that particular set of holidays, it's right around the corner. And, who knows, maybe, just maybe, Vitruveo blockchain will have given us a little bit of profit, maybe just a little bit. And, might be able to use some of that for buying some gifts for your loved ones. But we'll see. That, keeping our fingers crossed, right? That remains to be seen. So let me go through the comments here real quick and say hi to everybody. Crypto Manila, let's freaking go. Right on. Thank you for being here. OBZ, great day, fellas. Teddy1 is here. Rickness is here. Invest in yourself. Good afternoon to all. And thank you, the Mammoth. And Mammoth, if you want to come on, you're welcome to. Just let me know. I'd be glad to bring you on here. I really liked what you had to say in that in the live that you were in. I think it was last week. So you have some great ideas in the holders chat. So or validators. Gosh, I have to try to get used to the new terminology that we have. Dad Bod Veteran, howdy salute. Nice to see you here. CryptoFit UK, you're welcome to come in too if you want. And Moses the Great is here. And it's a. Oh, by the way, my apologies for yesterday. I wasn't feeling very well at all, and it was right when I woke up, and so I had to preempt the stream or reschedule it for today. So thank you for being here. I appreciate that. So today I'm just going to shoot from the hip, and we'll just kind of see if we can have some fun with things. There was an X Spaces. I keep wanting to call it Twitter Spaces, but now it's X Spaces. But there was a Twitter Spaces that was done and was ending just as I woke up this morning. And we're gonna actually play some of that in a little bit. I didn't get a chance to listen to more than about the first 20 minutes because I was getting ready for the show. So I wanted to play that. And if you hadn't got a chance, you can watch it right here if you like. But yeah, so let's go ahead and let's see if I can get this to work right and get it to be big enough to be readable. I've been starting to get it more into the crypto news and seeing what's going on out there in crypto news land. And yeah, there's interesting stuff that at least I find interesting. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But oh, and of course, not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. You fill in the blanks. So this story was from, looks like 10 hours ago, and this is on Cointelegraph.com. And the title is Criminals More Reliant on Cross-Chain Bridges Than Ever After Mixer Crackdowns. And I don't know who all has ever, most of us have probably used bridges before, but yeah. Oh, actually here. Yeah, Mammoth. Let's see here. Let me go ahead before I forget. See if I can get the link for you. Here, I'll just go ahead and I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in here, and we're going to do like we did before. I'm sending it to all the channels because we're simul streaming on 8 YouTube channels. You may be on mine, which you should be. But so if you come back here and you want to jump in, we can talk about anything. But anyway, so it's out there, Mammoth, if you'd like to join. So criminals more reliant on cross-chain bridges. So I was starting to say that, most of us have probably used a bridge. Some may have used one without even knowing. There's one in particular that I used. I'm not going to say who they are because I don't believe it was their fault. So I had about 35 grand last summer last year, just over a year ago. And I had used this bridge many times, like dozens of times for much smaller transactions, like under $1,000. And they were very reliable. So I had gotten used to using them, and I had 35 grand that I was like, okay, you guys always work. Everything's great. And I just decided in one lump sum. Well, no, wait a minute. I did, I think, a 2,000 transaction for them to go ahead and send over. Worked like a charm. And then I sent the rest and it got stuck. Yeah. 35 grand got stuck in the bridge for just over 3 days. So you better believe me, when I tell you that I was flipping out. That was not fun. And I thought, now, how stupid am I to have done this? I mean, yeah, I sent a test through, but I didn't think about the fact that they didn't have the liquidity and I should have checked, et cetera, et cetera. So I digress. But yeah, I was crapping my pants for 3 days straight, sending, support tickets in, which actually they were really helpful on that bridge. And, eventually it came through and my heart was just, oh my God, that's it. Never doing that again. So I will definitely send smaller amounts and still check if they have the liquidity. So that's a word to the wise, make sure you know what they've got. And yeah, anyway, so there you go. That's my story. And joining us, we have the Mammoth. How you doing, brother?
Hello. How's it going?
Good, good. Good, man. Glad to. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. We gotta bring this. We gotta show off your awesome swag. All right.
Yeah.
I love your sweatshirt or hoodie. I guess it's a hoodie.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I was going to wear it the other day, but it turned up the day after the AMA that I did.
So. Oh, it did. Oh. Typical. Right on, man. Yeah. Show that off. Show us the sleeves and stuff.
It's quite cool.
That is really cool.
And then on the back as well is.
Oh, you got that is sweet. Okay. You got me.
It's cool.
You got me. Do you by chance have your merch store link handy, or when you get a chance, can you post it? And you can go down to the bottom right if you wish, and where it says all underneath the comments, you can send it there and it'll go out to all 8 channels. Yeah, thank you, man. So if you want to get some sweet Vitruveo merch, that's your guy right there, Mr. Mammoth. There you are.
Thank you. I got a bit of flack for this the other day when
really?
I was talking in the Brood domain, Broodfi. I come up with some ideas. I want to launch them, but the last thing I want to do is be on the wrong end of communities like that. Obviously,
Yeah.
First things first, it's important to get things right, do things properly, and as Kryptonian would say, do things once, do it right, and all the rest of it. It's important. Yeah. So I've gone in there to have a chat, and straight away they're like, "Bang! You're a scammer. You're this. You're that." I'm like, "What? What's going on? How is this even happening?" Well, if you're going to align with Nick in any way, then you're basically a scam. And I'm just thinking, hang on a sec, how is this even happening? And then they jumped on the fact that I'm creating this merch and there's so many merch stores. I'm thinking, wow, you guys just, I don't know what's in your water, but
yeah,
wow, it was really hard anyway to kind of palate that for a minute. I'm not bothered. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I couldn't give
no, I can tell.
And stuff, but it wasn't very pleasant for a moment. And then after about, an hour of talking with the community, they kind of realized, actually, you know what? I made it clear that I was shafted along with everybody else. That I have a node that I'm hoping will have some value one day. And anything I'm trying to do, I know absolutely anything that I'm trying to do is trying to add value to the community, to Vitruveo, to my node, for my family. Of course, there's an opportunity for me to create a new business here, and I'm not going to shy away from that. But it really made me think for a second. In the end, it turned out okay, because they kind of came around, realized that I'm not that kind of guy. I'm doxed. I'm here again now. But yeah, it's an interesting journey already. I've just literally put some ideas out into the community, and already, bang! It's like this stuff going on that I hadn't quite anticipated. So it's made me, reevaluate. I mean, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, but I am putting into my business proposal sort of risk management, making sure we do things right. Whatever we do, is there a panel of people we can have on the team where we can make decisions together collectively to make sure that we're getting things right? Not that we're going to do anything wrong. I mean, our agenda,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Our agenda is not fraud. So it's already okay. But, you make a mistake and the community can be quite heavy. And right, so, you need to be accountable. So, yeah, interesting times.
And was that in the general chat where they were lighting you up like that?
It was in the Safu Vulcan sort of specific chat. So, I mean, if I was in a general chat, I may have had less flack. But I think that anybody that goes in there, they automatically assume that we are sort of that side of the fence. And I don't really understand that logic because, hey,
what's going on?
Right.
How's it going? Anybody that's in that space, you're normally kind of going in there going, I'm on your side here. I want to be educated. I want to learn. I want to understand the things that maybe I don't know yet. I accept that I've made mistakes in this investment, as did many people. What can I do to make that better for myself and for my family and so on? And it's just, it wasn't exactly the welcome I was hoping for, but I did manage to work out in the end. So whatever. Yeah. Interesting times.
People are crazy. And by the way, for those of you that are seeing, I'm aware that my camera, for some reason, now the focus has completely gotten stuck. So I'm all blurry, but oh well. But yeah, I get you, Mammoth. I mean, sometimes I'm just floored by how people's brains are wired. And they'll take something like what you said, something as simple as, hey, I've got my Vitruveo store up. And there's a lot of folks that have jumped on that bandwagon and say, hey, I want to have a merch store. And because we're allowed to do it, right? That's fine. So we could have 100 Vitruveo merch stores. There's nothing wrong with that. We all want to make a pound. We want to make a buck. We want to make, some pesos or whatever your country's denomination is, right? I mean, that's what it's all about, because without money in most of the world, you can't eat. You can't have somewhere to live, right? So, that kind of just segues into something else, a saying that has always ticked me off when people say money is the root of all evil. No, bad intentions are the root of all evil. Money's an inanimate object. You could say that about anything. If you wanted to use that logic, you could say, well, cars are the root of all evil. Well, in the Western world, at least, most of us have to drive a car. In the west side of the U.S., where I live, everybody drives a car. We have very little public transportation. Even though I work for a public transportation agency for the county that I live in, we have very little. It's like on Pride's side of the country, there's a lot more.
Yes,
it's a lot.
Imagine out here in the deep south with the dirt roads, really no transportation. They got
Wales. Here in Wales, I mean, there's a bus every 3 hours to the nearest town.
Oh, so you
take your car or and I like that. I mean, it's quite remote here. It's quite peaceful. I've got the coast, Pembrokeshire is beautiful. Dolphins, whales off the coast. You can see them from the coast when you're walking sometimes.
Oh, so that's nice.
Yeah, of course I understand. And they say like, money doesn't make you happy. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah. I consider money to be choice tokens. So the more money you have, the more choices you have.
That's
it
exactly
very quickly down to nothing when you have no choices because you got no money. So that's a nonsense illusion. It does make people happy. I think there's a limit to how much money you can have. See, who was it? He's been all over the Twitter and everything recently.
Elon
he was not incarcerated, but he was held down by the police for about 9 months in Romania, somewhere like that. You know who I'm talking about. I can't think of his name.
Andrew Tate.
Thank you. Gosh, I'm having a brain freeze. Yeah, and he. He was saying, there's only so much money that will bring you happiness, because when you got that many noughts, you can go and buy 10 Ferraris and you still got that many noughts. It makes no difference. So, greed is another thing that I really don't understand at all. Being able to look after family, having choices. And that's what this is about. I put $30,000 into all of this and I would like to see that back. So even if I have to sell a bit of merch, I'm quite creative. I can come up with different designs to other people. So be it. So I mean, those that are saying Oh, like I'm desperate for money. Well, kind of, yes. I would like to have more. It's been difficult. I don't see anything wrong with that. And if you're saying that, then either you have stupid amounts of money and you really don't need any more than you already have, or you're talking nonsense. So that's my view.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. It's everybody is welcome to their opinion. I mean, that's what this is. Life is all about opinions, right?
Absolutely.
But I definitely don't agree. I agree with you, Mammoth and Pride. But I don't agree with folks that are like, oh, you don't need money. Yeah, you do. We got it. Like you got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to have somewhere, safe. And when you don't, I feel bad for folks like that. And the thing that kills me, I think that's too funny and not funny and at the same time is folks that are in the crypto space saying that. I'm like, the only reason you're here is to try and make more money. Right. I mean, come on.
You're there to make money. So yeah. Right.
You live in glass houses, brother. Don't throw the stones. Jeez.
But yeah, I think things cooled down there, and I seem to have a better rapport. Not that it wasn't my doing, but I think I've settled things down there. So that's good. And even if I help to educate some of them that actually not, any of us really, I mean, there's a few individuals that I don't know, but really we're all doing our best here. We're trying to make through this, and to get that kind of response. So anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. It's just it just hit me the other day, and it's the person that came to mind.
Yeah, no, I think that's good because I think some folks lose sight after a while of the goal, and then how do I want to say this? It's folks start becoming cannibals. They're like, okay, I'm gonna eat you. We've turned into some kind of a zombie, I think, because we've been in this holding pattern for a year and a half, pretty much. Almost a year and a half. March, a year and a half ago. Holy crap! It's been a long time.
One second.
Yeah. Sorry. And it's been. We've all gone through a really bad, turn. Oh my gosh! Yep, there you go.
I still got mine. I use it when I get cold.
Sorry, Pride.
I said I still have mine. I just use mine when I get cold and run the house.
Yeah. I literally don't know what to do with it now. It's like a trophy, an embarrassing sort of you failed. Put that up there.
I know, right? That's it. I was actually looking yesterday Sunday through my clothes, looking for something to wear on Sunday. And I'm in there with my wife and we're figuring stuff out. And I looked and I see all the Seifu and Vulcan merch. And I thought to myself, should I just throw all of this out? Because there's some bad memories associated in my mind with what happened with those projects. However, there's a couple of specific pieces of merch that mean a lot to me. There's a couple that I wore when I was in Dubai and met this guy over here, right? We had a lot of fun. And for me, I love getting shirts, especially t-shirts when I travel. When I do my ninja thing around the country, and I always pick up a shirt no matter where I go. And it reminds me of that, that week, that weekend, that competition that I was in. Good memories with my friends, So I'm not ready to throw them out yet. There's a couple.
But, the way I'm looking at it is, I mean, this is the time will play this out, but I'm going to keep it. And if Vitruveo becomes something, okay, and I think somebody alluded to this on one of the previous AMAs with Chris, where they said, "Oh, how did you get into Vitruveo? How did you get a validator node in Vitruveo? Oh, I had to get scammed, and it's that kind of. I mean, I'd like it to be funny down the line. There's the trophy of that, and actually it ended up being really good. But what a journey! I don't know. So hopefully, Nick, the team, and anything I can do, anything that you guys are doing as well, between us, we can pull this out of the hat and we'll be okay. I mean, we have to. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's there for the taking. I mean, we haven't had the rug completely pulled from under our feet. We have a blockchain that's coming together. There are a lot of individuals in the community that are understandably asking a lot of questions and putting a lot of pressure on the team. And I think that's healthy to a point. And just let's see what happens. But I mean, it isn't going to happen unless we all kind of come together. And that's the bit where I struggle with some of the individuals in that community, because it's almost like they're almost trying to divide, and that's not going to help. It doesn't mean we should be full of hopium. you know, and create this illusion in our minds. I did that before, and what a mistake that was. So, you know, yeah, we'll see. But we have to pull together somehow.
It's not like we're trying to say to folks, hey, let's go hold hands, walk down the street, skipping together and singing Kumbaya or something, right? You know, we're not saying that.
You're never gonna have everybody on the same page. You know, you're always gonna have the people that agree, people that disagree.
Yeah.
And, you know,
as long as we can stay civil, right? Pride Mammoth. If we can stay civil in the chat about it, that's fine. But there are some folks, and I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. We all know that there's folks that are just there's a few screws loose, and boy, there's some of the stuff that comes out of their mouths. I'm like, if we were sitting at a restaurant right now, I doubt seriously that there's some people that would anyway, but I think most people would, you know, put their filter on and go, okay, I'm going to be polite, you know, and politely agree to disagree. But you know, I digress.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Just someone else I thought as well. But yeah. In terms of, they call me Steve, by the way. I mean, I'm
okay, Steve.
A metal festival called Mammoth Fest, and like you, every time I go to a gig, I have to get a T-shirt and any.
Yeah.
I've got piles of black T-shirts from the floor.
I do too, because that's my color.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. So it's got to the point now where I'm like, I've got a suitcase I've got to put up into the attic because I'm not going to wear them, but I don't want to throw them away. So yeah, great. And it's my window into the past as well, because I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I see that T-shirt and I know exactly where I was, what happened that night. Brilliant. So yeah,
I'm all about memories, absolutely. And it looks like I'm doing well today so far. The lovely Mrs. Odinato gave me $10. If anybody remembers, I think it was 2 weeks ago on my weekly live, I got 99 cents. And I don't even know what I did or didn't do. I must have forgotten some chores or something. So today, Scorpio, thank you, my dear. I appreciate that.
That's super chat on my channel. Just kidding.
Well, she subscribed to your channel. She subscribed to everybody's. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past her to do that just to get at me. We have a question from Crypto Fit, our fellow YouTuber in arms. Fit says, I know he's been really busy. I haven't heard from him for a little while, but here we go. So he says, question for you guys. What is going to stimulate crypto growth in general right now? We've been trading about 1.09 trillion for some time now, and it seems to be static for the last year or so.
They say it's going to be a Bitcoin halving. It's going to spike everything up.
Yeah, 2024. I think that's going to, I mean, there doesn't seem to be any other big catalyst, right? That's coming that we know about it.
Well, unless you know, one of these ETFs like BlackRock, get that Bitcoin approved ETF, that's going to spike it too, you know.
I don't keep up with Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this 4-year cycle is a very long 4-year cycle. You know, if it is 24 or 25, then it's getting longer. And I don't know if that's because of pressures with SEC and SBF and all these things that are happening. Confidence isn't there. So, and, you know, we'll have the Bitcoin halving, but will it really inject as much as we hope? I don't know. I mean, it's getting more tenuous at the moment, and I think that's on purpose. So, difficult times. But, I mean, you know, we will have the bull run, and I can't wait for that. And I think that we're primed, ready with Vitruveo for that. We need to make sure we have enough projects on the blockchain by that point. And I was saying this earlier in the community again, like somebody was saying, I reckon we're going to be at $6 by November. And I'm like, wow, how are we going to do that? And I didn't want to like FUD their comment. I think it's great that they're optimistic, but I think there needs to be some, you know, grounding to how we're going to achieve that. Because if we don't really onboard much and we just have art packs, for example, and hopefully there'll be more. I mean, you know, correct me here. I'm not aware of anything else yet. But if we just have that, then a lot of people are going to take their 0.25 in the first month. It might actually be a bit of a red candle in the whole month rather than anything going upwards. So, I just think it's really important we have as many projects on board as possible. And I don't know what Nick's plan is with that yet. And we have been asking. I mean, have you guys got any heads up yet?
No, not yet. I'm not on the inside track. I think Chris is definitely on the inside track. He's, and that's a good thing. I'm very glad too, by the way, that one of us or more, I don't know if anybody else is, but we all know that Chris is definitely, he talks to the folks on the team. He talks to Fair and a few others on a pretty regular basis from what I gather. So I think that's awesome that we have some representation that way, and anything that, that they need, man, Chris is always just boom, he's right there. And I don't know how he has the time, because he is so busy outside of crypto. I don't know how he has time to do all the lives that he does. Rickness. If you wish, you can scroll back no matter which channel you're seeing this on. I did put the join link for the live in. It's a little bit closer to the beginning, but yeah, and make sure you turn off top comments, because I'm not sure what the algorithm, which way it figures out what's a top comment and not. I've never gotten that. But if you need to find it, you can go ahead and just switch it to the live comments, and you can go ahead and jump in here. That'd be great if you want to come in. Be glad to hear what you have to say. And Teddy1 says, I wish you all would be real about this. The majority are not asking questions. They are making statements, nasty, negative statements. When it's called out, you get attacked. Yeah, I don't get it. And I don't know. Maybe it could be it's a certain generation. It could be it's just certain types of people. I guess maybe I'll put it that way, because not everybody is the same.
I think it's just people just being fed up because they don't have access to their money.
Yeah, I get it, right, Pride? I totally get it. I'm fed up, and maybe it's our age. You and I were both in the 50+ club. We've been around the block for a while. Steve is definitely not, a young guy.
24. Nearly.
There you go. Yeah. But, Steve is obviously, more relaxed about this. He's got a sizable chunk of cash in this thing as well, and he's being patient. I'd be lying if I said, everything's all, it's not like that. I've got over 100K in this thing, but I'm not bitching and whining about it in the Discord. I'm not attacking people. It seems to me, this is just my thing, and I'm not saying this about any one person in particular. I'm just going to throw this out as a general statement, but this is something that I've come to gather as what I think. I think most of the people that attack in the Discord and are upset, very much more upset than the average person, have much smaller bags. And I'm not saying that, oh, I'm so great, I got 100 grand. No, I'm not saying that at all. Has nothing to do with it. I would be the same mindset if I had $100 in this thing. I really would. That's just the way I am.
I'd be upset. There's some proportionality to it. The more money, the more tense, because of course your investment's big. I understand what you're saying. It's difficult. I don't understand why some people I think the only way I can explain it really is some of the individuals, maybe they're just that way anyway in life. They are a bit more tense about things. It hasn't gone their way. They're angry because of other reasons, and for whatever reasons they come in and then they channel that energy negatively into the community. But again, if we were all the same, it would be a very bland world that we live in. So we have to take the rough with the smooth in that respect, and respect the fact that they're pissed off as well, even though it may not be as much as some other people. They still are, and they're entitled to be. I think the challenges are for the admin teams to understand the message behind the tension and try and help them, give them the answers. And if they're not getting the answers, then what are the questions that need answering? Because at the last AMA when Nick was on, there were a lot of questions, and in that 2 hours he was firm. 2 hours and I'm going to head off. And there were a lot of people that had questions that weren't answered basically, and that leaves a tension then. Are they hiding something? And because of what we've been through, it creates a very quick swarm of bees around issues. And I don't know, maybe the team can pick up on these things and address them quicker, and it would just simmer things down a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all we're saying. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's great. Just it's how you go about sharing that. Don't agree with anything I say. Don't agree with what anybody else says. Just be nice to each other. We're in this thing together. We're trying to make some money for ourselves for whatever reason. Some new shoes for your kids to go to school in, buy another car, whatever it is. I have two granddaughters with another one that'll be here in just over a month. And, I would like that when my wife and I are gone, that their grandparents have left to their parents and then a sizable chunk of cash down the road. So, that's what I'm mostly in this for. It's for my family and my kids. Hey, we have a special guest. We have Rickness that has joined us. Welcome to the stream, Rickness. Glad to have you here. You had something that you had mentioned that you'd like to share, some ideas, I think, that you said for the blockchain, right?
Kind of. So,
okay.
Just out of curiosity, can y'all hear me okay? I've never done this before in my life.
No, thank you for checking. Yeah, we can hear you. It's fine.
All right. There's not too much background noise.
There's background noise, but you're in the car, so that's okay. We're all used to it. And if you don't need to have the camera on if you don't want to while you're driving. I mean, totally up to you. But
I don't care about the camera for me because I'm not going to be looking at
it. Right on. Yeah, go ahead. What was on your mind?
But no, if I was going to say if it's sun and everything is too weird, I can turn off my camera. It makes it easier for everybody else.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So about 20-ish years ago, I had an idea for a game.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, it sounds like the coolest thing in the world. But, whenever you have ideas, it always sounds great until you talk to other people and they're like, there are flaws. Also, 20 years ago, the technology didn't exist for what I wanted to do to actually happen.
Yeah.
But technology now exists, and it is now technically feasible as long as you have somebody who understands how to do it. And since there wasn't a real agenda to today's show, I was like, I wonder if I could bounce this idea off of other gamers to see if it's something that other people think would actually be feasible or not.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So like many of you who are watching the show or will watch the show in the future, I grew up playing video games. I love them. I think they're a lot of fun. Don't have as much time to play them now as I used to. Adulting, all the fun stuff involved in that. But I also like to do a lot of things physically, like grew up playing sports, grew up, doing things.
Like football, baseball, basketball, whatever.
Football, baseball, not basketball. I'm horrible at that one. Oh, dude. Never give me a basketball. A 10-year-old will beat me. Anyway, so the idea that I had was to play basically like a first-person shooter or a role-playing game, but in real life.
Okay.
20 years ago, you couldn't do that type of thing.
Right.
Because I'm like, yes, virtual reality exists, but I don't want it to be virtual reality. I want to actually be walking in woods. And there's like a treasure chest on the ground, and I open it up, and I can access whatever.
Okay, kind of like augmented reality. Kind of like a Pokemon Go did, basically. Except, but with your game premise. Yeah, totally get it. That's cool.
Right. And that was the thought that made me really happy when augmented reality came out. So it's like, no, augmented reality. You can put on some AR glasses, and then you see the world. You can party up with your friends and quote unquote go and do a quest or whatever, or a mission, depending on the scenario. And something that's fun about that is you can change what people are seeing. Like maybe one weekend is fantasy, another weekend is zombie apocalypse, another weekend is something else. Or it could be like someone that's not even associated with you could be doing like a first-person shooter, kill everybody game, while someone over here is just, I want to be in a fairy, like enchanted forest and not even try to kill anything. I'm just walking around through beautiful scenery, and all of a sudden a fairy comes around a tree. Or whatever.
That's really cool. I like that idea. That's inventive. Damn.
That's massive.
I can't believe nobody's thought of this and brought it to fruition before, because that is really cool. I've never thought about that, but I can see how much fun, Rickness, that could be.
So
if you have, yeah, go ahead.
So I was just going to say, I talked to my brother about this 20 years ago because he's in computer programming and development, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, just out of curiosity, how feasible would something like this be? And 20 years ago, he was like, you would need a major production company or like software company like Blizzard or Square Enix or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you would need a major, like Sony would have to back this because that's millions of dollars that would go into doing something like this. But technology is a lot better now. And like, I honestly see that it's something could potentially be done. I mean, I could technically do it myself with my zero knowledge of whatever, just from watching YouTube videos and learning how to do things on my own, which is one thing I will say I am actively learning how to do at the moment. I want to make AR art because I think that would be a lot of fun. But I have to learn how to do it first because I don't know how to use Blender or any of the gaming engines or whatever to make anything. So I have to learn from scratch, which is so much fun.
I know that Starbuck, if you know who she is insanely good with the art, AI art, and oh my gosh. She asked me, she said, hey, if Odie, if you want, I'll make some, give me a couple of poses, like Jedi poses, and I'll have my AI engine train for a while. It took like a month. And then she gets back to me and she sends me all these pictures. And my wife says, it doesn't look like you. But I think it looks a little like me. I mean, like the one behind me right now is one that she did. It's a little farther. It's not close up, but the upper right-hand corner that keeps changing. You know, some of them, there's a couple of close-ups, and I know they don't look exactly like me, but they interpreted what I look like. And I think they're kind of cool. And I can't imagine where the technology is going to be in 2 years. Oh my gosh. And then, you know, I know that's AI, not AR, but I believe that both of them kind of feed off of each other, even though they're different. Anyway, I think that your idea is cool.
I actually figured out a way to use AI to create augmented reality art as well.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, there are ways to do it. It's not easy. And it does involve having to use code and scripting and stuff like that, which I don't know how to do.
Yeah.
But I played around a little bit with that earlier this week, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Except I don't understand the code that's being printed out.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is cool. I have no idea how to change any of it if I need to. So, good times.
Yeah, my buddy Bobby has been a software engineer for a very long time. I don't even understand anything. I've looked at his screen before when he's doing stuff, and it's like, dude, I just don't get it. I actually taught myself BASIC back in 1982 when I got my second computer. And, you know, I thought I was really, you know, all that, but anything beyond that? No. Oh, wait a minute. What? Can you bring that one back? That one back up? Yeah, thank you. Real Deal Northwest says, hi, Odie. Love your lives. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a little behind the times, but would you kindly give me an update on when Vitruveo will go full live? Okay, so the last that I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but we don't have an actual, and that's actually a multi-part question answer. It's the first thing, and that's imminent. That's supposed to be any day. They're getting some bugs worked out and just making sure that when they launch it, it's good to go. Am I missing anything? Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. So we're going to have release candidate 1, and it will be live, Real Deal. And then we have to hit certain metrics, but so to speak, don't quote me on the exact time frame, but I believe it's supposed to be a couple weeks to a month, depending on how much, is it volume? I can't remember now off the top of my head. I'll have to go back and look at the tiny URL, but it's something like that. We have to hit a certain goal with the blockchain, Real Deal, and then we go to release candidate 2. and that will be another couple of weeks to possibly a month, is what Nick is guesstimating. And then if all goes well, we'll have actual mainnet final product. Boom, it's out there. So it could be before the end of this year as far as mainnet goes, but it'll actually be live any day. So they're just kind of getting, again, the bugs worked out, making sure everything is good to go. And then, yeah, we'll start seeing it. With that, we have a lot of folks that are validators. Steve's a validator as well. And we have some backers and Pride owns backers. I own backers myself. And, a lot of folks, I have three things going around in my head that I want to say at the same time. Sorry, guys. Validators, we're not going to have everybody on at the same time. Apparently, that's not possible. I'm not a programmer, but yeah, Steve's nodding his head that it's not possible. And they're going to pick a couple of folks, if I'm not mistaken. I think a couple of the node gods are going to be first. From what
technically minded who can just kind of onboard quickly, understand the process, and then teach others.
Yeah, you don't want me to do it. No. I'm going to have someone hold my hand, kind of like SO did, who's, SO and Nathan B, those guys are awesome. And everybody else who's been someone that helps in the full node / now validator channel. They've been great. They're doing it for free. They're just helping us. And,
brilliant.
If they wanted to, if you think about it, we're all competing, right? Our nodes, validators, backers, they're all going to be competing for this piece of the pie. They could just go, screw you guys. I'm not helping you. I'll get some. They're not going to be like that. They're really great. So I appreciate it.
Worked really well as well. The script that we had, there was a few pages, follow A, B, C, cut and paste, and then at the end it was live, and I was just like, oh.
There were one or two things. It took me like an hour to do the first one because I was, following the steps, and one or two of them, there was something that was implied, but it wasn't actually explained. And it actually was pivotal because I was like, I don't get it. Am I supposed to do this or that? So I just went into the chat and asked, and lo and behold, about 100 other people had the same question, and they're like, I don't get it. So yeah, the guys are great. We're going to be fine. And I don't want to be the first. I'm fine if I'm the last, putting my validators online, because then there'll be a lot of folks that have done it before me. And I know I'm not missing out on that much money, and we're still going to get
save money
from. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's not like the only income you're going to get from having a node is from the gas. So anyway, but for those again that are backers, myself, Pride, other folks, I have backers. I have 5. I bought one for each of my kids, and obviously the deal has been changed. And I will touch on this just real briefly, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to turn it into a positive by mentioning this. There's a lot of folks that are in the backer channel that have been really sour, understandably so, about, hey, the deal changed. I've seen folks say, well, we were promised this and we were promised that. Well, yeah, by the scammer, that's not worth us anymore. All right. Yeah. The scammer promised us the moon and everything in between. And, the deal changed. The good news is we still have a deal. And to me, I think it's better than no deal. And I think it's actually a pretty good one. So far, so good. We'll see how it works out. But I like the vision. And I said this when I was on the live last Friday with Nick and some of the other guys. I said it then, I'll say it again. I don't know jack squat about the arts. About music arts, Steve, he's the expert on the musical arts. We have folks like Fair and some others that are on the council that, painting and all that. They understand art. I don't understand anything. Okay. I think this is art. Cobra Kai, right? That's art to me. I'm just not, I'm not savvy, but I don't have to understand it to know that. What I do need to understand is the guy that's leading the ship. What's he all about? And Nick has been public for a very long time. He's been out there a lot longer than Brian or anybody else that is no longer part of this blockchain moving forward. Nick has a reputation that's not even questionable. It's not open for debate. He's proven through his actions with all the projects that he's been a part of and that he's a part of now, because this isn't the only thing he does. A lot of folks may not know. He has he has decentology. He had a whole other thing that kept his plate full before he even took on this responsibility. So I can't even imagine what it's like for him on a day to get up and go, okay, I'm already 3 hours behind. You know, we're I think, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I follow him on Twitter, and I see, you know, he'll go into his garden and he'll pick some fruit and veg, and he'll be like, summer's here, I'm getting lots of things coming from his garden. And the next thing you know, he'll take a photo of a butterfly and he'll sarcastically criticize the butterflies ruined the photo that he was trying to take of a leaf, but you know, obviously he's joking. He has a good approach to business, and I'm learning a lot from just following him, because I could sit here all day long trying to knock out the things I'd like to deliver in the future. And you know, I need to get out, I need to live life, and I like the way he does that. He finds a balance for his family and for himself, and then he gives the energy that he needs to and steps away again. And I think that's healthy, you know, and I think people need to understand that, because, you know, all right, there's loads of money that we're all expecting, we all have these expectations now, but you put that much pressure onto an individual, and there's a risk that they may not be able to deliver anything because it'd just be too much. So, you know, we're all human, we've all got to pace ourselves a little bit here and support him and help him, I guess. So yeah, I like he's very open. He is extremely communicative. Well, that's a tongue twister. Yeah, I like it. You know, Nick doesn't have time for BS. His blinders are on most of the time, and he's just like full tilt going forward, right? And you know, to touch on what Rickness was saying earlier about his amazing idea, which I do think is amazing. I just think that you could blow the world up, no pun intended, with a game like that. I don't know if you've thought about it, but are you a part of the Cosmic Force Discord by chance, Rickness?
I have 5 nodes. Okay,
cool. Right on. So that's an understatement, right? You got more than I do. I've got 1 node, and I have an OG and an alpha NFT and a couple of other power-ups, but that's it. So that's cool. So I don't know if you've ever talked to Steve or Matt in there. They might be
not about that specifically.
Okay.
That's something that I think would be a lot of fun. Not something that's going to happen anytime soon. Yeah. There's so many other ideas involving AR that I want to do. I have talked to Fowler about some AI ideas that I have with F3 Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
He was like, if you can figure it out, man, that sounds awesome. I was like, great. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Why do you have 2 cadets? I was curious.
Well, originally I only was able to get just an alpha, and so I was like, okay. And then last week I got an OG. So yeah. So I may sell the alpha. Yeah. I'm saving up right now for 1% of a planet. So I mean, I hope they sell out so that, you know, the project can go to the heights that they want to. But secretly inside, the greedy me says, I really hope there's still 1% of a planet left in a little bit so that I can get it. Because I see that down the road, because the game is not scheduled to be a gamma full release gamma until about December of next year if they stay on track. So far they are, but you know, I would love down the road, a year or 2 from now, to be able to look back and go, I'm invested in a video game and I'm making money. I got 1% of a planet. Neener. People going, what? You make money from a video game? Yeah, and I don't even have to play it, bro. So it makes me fun. It makes me tickle inside. And yes, I will be playing the game. I totally suck at first-person shooters, so I guarantee you, when the game is out, gamma, and it's out there, you know, a whole bunch of us can get together and you know, go against each other. I do better flying in a spaceship than on the ground doing pew pew with a gun. But hey, I digress. You can have a lot of fun seeing how many times we can whack Odie. Hey, look, he respawned over there. But I'm more into the industrial side. That's what I really like. I like the old, you know, I want to be another Rockefeller in space. So
yeah,
that's what
I'm looking forward to the time that we can change it from first person to third person.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool.
Because I'm for some reason, first person's don't work for me. But as soon as you can zoom it out to third person, it's great, and I can do anything I want.
Interesting. I like that. Well, if they have a sniper rifle and I can do sniper, that's my best thing. I like to hide in the bushes or behind rocks and then take you out from 100 yards or something. So
I feel like you and I have a very similar play style.
Yeah, because I suck, so I have to hide. Shadow X says, I've got about 70 grand invested, and I accepted the fact I've lost my investment. Some in the Vitruveo Discord are just a bunch of idiots, especially the mods. Well, Shadow, I haven't had that experience with the mods. I mean, I don't fault you for your opinion. I mean, everybody, that's cool. I haven't had that issue with the mods. I'm not in Discord as much as some folks, so I typically will drop in a couple times a day. Look for pinned messages to make sure I haven't missed any important announcements. And then I might hang out in the validators channel and a few others. I don't generally go into the general. It's been too toxic for me in the past. I don't know if the mods have actually started cleaning that up or not. I know Nick had said on Friday last week that was coming. So because we want to have it cleaned up. We want to have our blockchain be something that people with money, lots and lots of money, want to invest in, and they're not going to come in if it's a little sandbox where people are pooping everywhere and telling you, hey, this is, if you don't like it, too bad for you. Well, we want people to invest because we want to make money, and we want creators to join so that we'll also make money. And so that's the name of the game in my book. And I know I sound like I'm probably preaching or something stupid like that. I'm not trying to come across that way. But I believe in this investment, and we had no belief. We had nothing to believe in once everything blew up at the end of July, right? I mean, it went to hell really fast. We were all upset. We were just going crazy, and then we have this little bit of light. Now that light's gotten a little brighter. I'm not saying that we're going to be successful. This blockchain could it could not work. I really hope it does. Right, Pride? We want it to work.
As I said before, just think if Nick never stepped up, where we would be. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah. We let's see here. Robert says we had nothing. Nick brought everything back to life with some others. Yes. And I like how you said that, Robert, because that's a good point to make sure that everybody knows. Nick is the first one to say it. And if you've watched any of the lives that he's been on, he said it in almost every live. He knows that he's just one part of this team. You need a team to be successful, right? And it's really hard to achieve without others that can help you. So yeah, I think that, yes. And he goes on to say his vision in life and things are extremely high. Thank you. Yeah. So we have Nick. He knows he knows that he has a vision, and he's very well versed in that direction, and he knows exactly what he wants. Think about what things you've tried to achieve out there and in life, and what you've wanted to do, and something that you're really good at. And you go, okay, man, I am hyper focused. I'm going to get my doctorate or whatever. And you know what you need to do. So I think that we're in a lucky spot to have someone that knows what and knows how to get there. And hopefully along the way, we'll make some money, start seeing some returns. If I can break even in the first 2 years of this blockchain launching, I think that's a win at this point. That's me.
Right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
He must have so many plates spinning, and because there's so much going on, he must be thinking, well, I don't even know how I'm going to onboard yet, because there's so many things to do before we can even get there. And then that's putting pressure, or rather the community then are quite likely saying, well, hey, what's going on here with growth, expansion? And then the node or the validators are talking about, stimulus between the DAO and the nodes, and some people want as much as they can, and understandably so. We all want to get our money back, but if you take money away from the DAO, then there's less money to invest in grants for new projects that might bring a lot of volume, which could be better for us in the long run. So there's a lot of challenges playing out right now. One idea is about a pendulum idea. So if there's a lot of new projects, well, let's give more to the DAO and then let it swing back the other way when the numbers increase. So, there's lots of healthy conversation going on, but, we aren't even at a point where we've kind of mapped out the framework for the business. before we can even start onboarding new things. So we are mega early in that regard, and I think it's important for people to remember that, because again, it's 6th of September. I'm not sure that's. I'd love for that to be correct. That would be amazing, but I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll it's I don't want to beat a dead horse or sound like I'm doing that.
No,
so
that's not the point. It's about feet on the ground, really, just recognizing that we do have a business now. I mean, let's just put it another way. When we were involved in Sato and all of that, at no point was that ever real. I've got spreadsheets on this computer which go ahead 2 years looking at every day rebasing every 15 minutes. All this nonsense. I've spent ages on nothing. None of it was real. I spent hours, days, weeks, months
I did the same thing.
And now this is actually real. But we are back, feet on the ground now. We have to be realistic about it. But I mean, this has got every chance to get there. I mean, one of the things that a lot of the guys in Brew were saying was there's too much baggage associated, i.e. that you can't just change the brand name and the Discord group and expect to just move on. And of course, I can see their point. I respect their opinions, and I'm not trying to be adversarial against any opinions anyone else has. Respect to them. But in my opinion, this has no attachment to any scammers as far as I'm aware. They think Nick has been somewhat underhand with like the 2.4 million for a blockchain. I'm hearing rumors that costs more than what Binance cost to build. I don't know about these things, so I'm going to hold my hands up there and say, well, I'm going to take that on board and keep an open mind. I'm not implying Nick is or not, one way or the other. All I know is he has turned this around into something that is now tangible. And if I'm given a black and white choice between holding Nick's feet to the fire, I'm putting that much pressure that he walks away and this whole thing implodes, or rolling with it the way it is right now, and not just hoping, but genuinely, I do believe that this has real legs now. So much so, I'm even trying to build something that would be tangible on the blockchain in the future. So, I think, given the choices, of course, I'm going to be behind it. I'm going to be optimistic to a point. My feet are firmly on the ground more than ever, and I don't think I can be more real about it. There's another thing as well in the main general chat. There's one individual in particular, which I won't mention their name, but he's quite pessimistic. He believes he's a realist, and there's this real swing in the community between sort of what is pessimism or realism. And the only way we're ever going to know if either party, either side of the coin is right is if it, in the future, when it either happens or not. If it didn't happen, they were realistic, and that's fine. And maybe, and if it goes ahead, they were pessimistic, So we just have to suck it and see, really.
Absolutely. Dad Bod Veteran on the Cosmic Force. 1% is steep, but I did add all 6 at one. Oh my God, dude. Wow. Good for you. Dang. He's gonna be rolling in some dough when the Cosmic Force goes live. I can speak English really good. Yeah, I'm excited. I love. Well, we'll go back to Cosmic Force for a moment. I'm excited about that project. I really am, because the guys that family that runs it. I love Steve, Matt, Mike. They're really great. They're down to earth, and Pride and I got the good fortune of meeting Steve, his wife, and Matt. Matt's a goofball. I love Matt. Tell me, Pride, is he goofy or what? I mean, he's funny. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. But you can see how serious they are.
I just like the fact that it's a family business,
Yeah,
exactly. Making a computer game that's based loosely, and I'm not saying they are Star Wars, but I mean the whole concept of space and wonderful. Love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, it's great.
Steve and I, Steve's like 8 months older than I am, so he was around when Star Wars came out. I was 8 years old when Star Wars came out in the theater, and my mind was blown for the rest of my life. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, what did I just see? And we were so poor, my family, we barely were able to go see just Star Wars, and we couldn't see it once or twice or 5 times or 100 like people were doing and stuff. And back then, movie tickets were like, not even $1, a US dollar. It was cheap. But anyway, I like how Steve and his family, obviously that had to have bit him and this sci-fi bug as well. And I just love where they come from with all of this. And they're they're easygoing. But if you have questions, they're glad to answer them. And just remember, folks, if you haven't looked into it or if you've thought about it, Cosmic Forest, it's a really cool project. It's not just a video game. That's the big thing on the surface is what everybody sees. Yeah, it's a video game. If you're not a gamer, that's okay. You don't need to be a gamer. If you are an investor, which if not everybody watching this is, I'm sure, an investor, well, then that's something you might want to look into, because there's 2 ways to invest in this project. Cosmic Forest not only has a video game, but they're also launching a gamers specific blockchain within their universe. So I believe they plan to be on BSC first, and then looking at. Thank you very much for bringing that up. There's the Cosmic Force website where you can get a lot of information about the project. Really good stuff. And then it'll give you the link for their Discord and their other socials. But so you have the game just to play it. Then you have the gamer specific blockchain that's going to be called Cosmic Blockchain. And they're going to have, so for the investors, think about this. That blockchain is specifically aimed at developers, software developers for games. And so once we have multiple, projects, games that are on that specific blockchain, if you have a node, they have basically full and light nodes as the, they call in, I should say it right. So Steve says that they have nodes, which is what we would call a full node or a validator. And then they have light nodes. And you can also get a percentage of a planet so it's a space game. There'll be spaceports, farms, properties that'll be bought and sold and so forth. A lot of it like real life. And if you own part of a planet, you're kind of like the government. You're going to get some tax off of each transaction. There will be, I was going to say a space mall. there will be, marketplaces and such where people buy guns and bigger ships and so on and so forth. And when they pay with the Cosmic Forest token, you're going to get a piece of that transaction, just like any other. If you have so it's a couple of different things to think about. So once that gets rolling over time, there's going to be a lot of games that'll be on that blockchain. And if you have a piece of the action, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about
it.
Yeah, later, Pride. Thanks for dropping in, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Later, Pride.
See ya.
I was thinking about this from obviously the digital trading platform that I'm looking to build. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be cool if you could buy an NFT of a gun from Cosmic Force and then use that asset in GTA 9 or something in the future? And you got this crazy cannon gun that has the same code in the other game. It's transferable, and you can run around, nick a car or nick a spaceship, buy a spaceship, and then drop it into GTA. Imagine flying over everybody, and you've got your cannons and I don't know if games have got that far yet in kind of trying to make the NFT asset sort of modular, if that's the word, or multi-platform, how you want to label it. But stuff like that would be really cool. I mean, literally cosmic universes and all sorts of madness going on.
Yeah, go ahead, Rickness.
I was just going to say, that's another idea that I've had. Not
serious?
Like, not porting to other games like that. But there's actually a book series that I read. It's a lit RPG. It's really, really fun. And the book series basically take place inside video games. But the video game world is all interconnected. So you can go from one video game to the other.
Oh, wow.
So if you're playing a fantasy game, you can go to a steampunk game with the same characters, same stats, same weapons, same everything. And you can just jump between the different types of games.
Every game.
That sounds crazy.
And that's something that I was thinking of. I was like, dude, with the Cosmic blockchain, just like Mammoth said, they can get an NFT, and that'll give them access to all the different games of like a specific developer, if that's how they want to do it. And they can pull, like, how weird would it be if you're in like a racing game and all of a sudden somebody shoots by you in like on a fantasy horse or whatever because they ported their character over with all the stats, and just weird, crazy stuff could happen.
Yeah, there could be compatibility. If they can get that right. So imagine the platform. My idea is up and running, and you've got loads of music and books and gaming NFTs all over the place. And then as part of the asset, you have Cosmic Force tick, and then GTA tick, and any other compatibility. And you go, you know what? That's just double the value of that asset because it's now applicable over there too. And you can buy and sell these assets and make real world money in the gaming world. Those who are passionate about gaming, I think it's absolutely massive. I mean, obviously, this is kind of where it's all heading. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. Whether games would want to have, I mean, let's just throw this madness out there. You got Cosmic Force, and all of a sudden, there's Pinocchio walks past, or from some other game. I mean, it would get pretty out there pretty quickly if you open the door too much. So there has to be some management, or maybe you could have as one of the worlds a place where people come from the rest of the galaxy, and anything goes, but only in one world, and then they pay tax to get on there, and you get paid.
Be kind of like Ready Player One, the movie, where everybody's sort of in a. It could be a separate world, like you're saying in this example, a separate world where people of all kinds of different characters. I love the heck out of that movie, Ready Player One.
It'd be madness, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. No, I didn't read the book, but I will say that this is one of those movies where I've talked to a lot of folks that said the movie was better than the book. I mean, subjective, but I take it you read it?
Book, yeah.
How were they?
I thought the books were phenomenal.
Wow.
Anytime I go to watch a movie that's based on a book, I have to mentally turn off this is going to be, or like I'm frustrated that this is different.
Yeah.
Because there's no shot in hell that anyone is ever going to make anything as good as the book.
Right. Agreed.
Because you can't, there's not that much time to portray all the information. So for what it's worth, for what they did with the movie, I thought they did an amazing job. I really enjoyed it. It was close enough to the book-ish that I could appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I get you, man, because I have to do the same thing. I don't read books nearly as much as I used to. About 20 years ago, I was devouring books. I'd go on my lunch break at work, and I'd go across the street to here in the States, we have a store called Barnes & Noble that used to be pretty big. And I would go there, I would peruse, find a book, and then I'd read it and then go back the next week, etc. And I will say that on that note, Rickness, where obviously the movies usually aren't as good or better than the books, I totally agree. And you do have to kind of put that different hat on going, okay, I know this isn't going to be as good as the book, but I'll temper my expectations. One movie that was absolutely horrific, not even close to the book. I don't even know why they put the title was the only thing, was I'm an Anne Rice fan, and I like the Vampire Chronicles, with the vampire Lestat and, Louis and all of those guys from Interview with the Vampire. For those that aren't aware, that's what I'm referring to. That wasn't the first book in that series. It was the first movie, and that movie was it was all right. It was good. I like Brad Pitt, and I thought that Tom Cruise did as much as he could with his acting ability at the time and the part they gave him. But I will say this: when they went to the next and last movie, which was The Queen of the Damned, that's the first book. For those that don't know, that's the one that shows the entire lineage of. This is where vampires came, in that universe. This is how vampires came into being. And it's way back like ancient Egypt, 5,000 plus years ago and all that kind of stuff. And the movie wasn't even close. In fact, that movie mixed parts of another book in that series in with it. And I was like, what the hell were you guys thinking about? And the movie bombed at the box office. And I'm sure that's why they could have done a better job. So, yeah, but yeah, Ready Player One. I love it because my decade was the 80s. That's when I was a teenager. That's when I graduated high school and started going to college, back in 87. And, that was and that movie it has Spielberg all over it. So, hey, there you go. I loved it. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
let's see here. Teddy One says the worst film portrayal for a book was World War Z. I own that movie, but I've never watched it. My wife actually likes that movie. But what about you guys? Have you ever watched World War Z?
That movie gave me anxiety. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one with Brad Pitt and the zombies run and do all kinds of crazy crap. I had such bad anxiety watching that movie.
Yeah.
Because zombies are supposed to walk. You can get out of their way. All you have to do is just walk faster. I watched World War Z and I'm freaking the F out.
My partner Sarah loves zombie movies, and she loved that movie. And I'm sitting there like, here we go. I get all anxious. We're watching it, 10 o'clock at night in bed. At 12 o'clock, I am wide awake, pumping with adrenaline. Not just that film, but anything like zombie and stuff. They run into it. I'm gone. So, but she loves it. She'll turn the TV off, go to sleep, and I'm like that. Oh my God. I'm not going downstairs.
And hey, Halloween is upon us, right? But go ahead, Rickness.
Yeah. I was just telling Mammoth, Steve, I'm the same way. I legitimately watched a zombie movie that was a spin on Romeo and Juliet, but it was a zombie movie. Yeah, it was actually really good. I was at my brother's house and they were watching it. And they were like, you have to watch this movie. And I did. Even though it was a Romeo and Juliet love story, I still had a nightmare that night.
Oh, wow. That's bad. That is bad.
Because it had zombies.
Wow.
It was a film that I watched when I was about 12 years old. It was a black and white film. I can only assume from maybe the 50s or whatever. And there was these creatures that have come down from space. Now, there's sheep's bodies with no legs and a hoover neck, like ribbed sort of neck, and a hoover mouth, and it sucked the bones out of people's bodies. And there's this one scene where the village is under attack, and they're on the roof of the church, and all these people are in the basement of the church trying to hide away, and they're crashing through the glass and all of this. And then one somehow manages to get into the basement, and he grabs hold of this guy, and he has to cut his arm off to save himself. And there's another guy who's just a pile of mush on the floor with no bones. And I'm like, I'm watching. I don't want to watch this. When they say, you've got to watch this, you've got to watch everything once. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to watch. No, you're watching. And since then, I've just been like, I really don't get some of this. I mean, I do. Obviously, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Some of it's quite funny. But there's times when I was like, nah, this is just not for me. Definitely.
That's funny.
That's too funny.
And then
I
go
get
off
nightmares.
Music videos like for my death metal band that I was in, and it's just gore everywhere. And I'm like, this is great. So I don't even understand myself there, to be fair. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, my wife and all three of my daughters love horror movies. They absolutely love them. I hate them because Rickness, I get nightmares if I watch stuff that's a little too graphic. And these days, of course, with the special effects they can do, pretty much they can make it look as real as possible, right? And oh my gosh, I watched horror movies with her while we were dating, so I could stay in good. But I stopped watching them not long after we got married, and 32 years later, I don't want to watch them. So, and of course, my wife doesn't care. Mrs. Otis is like, we don't need you. So she and the daughters will, during the month of, this next month where Halloween's coming up, they'll get together and watch some crazy stuff. And I'll just come up here to my office and close the door, put on my noise canceling headphones so I can't hear it. And,
If you want your $20 super chat, you need to go watch a movie, man.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I appreciate everyone who's been here. We're at an hour and 18 minutes, and I think we'll probably wrap it up here in a couple of minutes and call it a day. We've talked about a lot of stuff. a couple of messages we've put out there that I hope aren't falling on deaf ears. Let's be nice to each other. Let's be polite. I'll put it that way. Again, when we're talking about our passions, whether it's crypto or anything else, if you're in the Discord, I'll just put that as the example. Let's try to at least agree to disagree, but be decent. That's all I'm asking for. Be decent. Because according to Nick, the mods have their marching orders and they're going to start cleaning house. So, there's a lot of us here in the United States. It's all about free speech, blah, 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 blah. But then again, that only really extends to free speech against the government. It has nothing to do with private enterprise. There's no such thing as, there's nothing in the law of this country that I'm in that says you're guaranteed free speech no matter what. You're not. It's only against the government. You can say the government sucks all you want, whatever. But private is private. Discords are private. They can do whatever they want. And if you have to agree to those terms and the end user agreement, when you say, okay, these are the rules of the server, a lot of people just go, okay, I agree, and they don't read it. But if you look at the rules of the Vitruveo server, a lot of the stuff that folks are doing, that's actually breaking the rules. So I would just implore folks, you have the right to feel the way you feel, and you have the right to talk about it. Just be polite about it. You don't have to be all sunshine and lollipops, but just don't call people names. Don't get rude and say you're stupid. And there's no place for that, So,
and also understand that the way that you communicate in there can have an effect on new people coming in. And if we want this to grow and be successful, then we have to nurture that environment and not allow it to become something else, anything
absolutely
else.
Steve. Yeah. So, we all want to make money.
Yeah.
And that's you got to look at the big picture. We're not going to be rich this time next year. I doubt it. But hopefully by this time next year, we can revisit this conversation and we'll have a show. And a lot of us will, or those of us, all of us that have invested in this thing will have some profit. Maybe some is better than none. Right now, we have a shot at some as opposed to we were going to get stuck holding a big bag of nothing. I don't like nothing. I want to take care of my kids. I want to take care of my wife. I want to take care of my beautiful granddaughters. They're everything to me. This is a chance to be able to do that. And this isn't the only game in town. I plan to spread out. I used to be diversified in my crypto holdings, by the way. And then I decided to go ahead and put all my eggs in one basket. Now, folks will just go crazy about that. Oh, Odie's an idiot. Well, you can look at it that way. It was money I could afford to lose. It wasn't money that if I don't get anything out of this deal, I can't pay my mortgage next month. I can't feed my family next month. No, it's money I can afford to lose. I don't want to lose it, but it's money that I follow that tenet. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And I know, unfortunately, there's a lot of folks that did invest in this that they over leveraged themselves. And I feel bad when I hear that. But I will say, hopefully we have some hope and we're all in this together. So let's work together, make it welcoming for folks to come into our Discord and talk to us. And as time goes on, hopefully we'll be able to get those, new folks that are going to invest in our blockchain. Perhaps we might be able to get them to come on and talk to us on some of the lives. I know not everybody likes doing that. It's not their thing. And I totally get it. It takes some guts to get up here for the first time. And whether it's showing your face or not, it puts a lot of people out of their comfort zone. But hopefully we'll be able to get some folks that are willing to do that. Some creators like Steve here, who's an artist and he knows how to jam like a son of a gun. I mean, dude, you rock.
I'll send you some of my music videos later. Right?
That would be cool. I would love that. I'm a rocker. I'm a rocker to the core. So
I remember you talking to Dan Prado and others about it a long time ago. And I was just like, you guys, yes, definitely. I mean, I like it all. It doesn't matter how heavy, rock, metal, death metal, whatever. It's my bag. I also like dance music and stuff like that too. And I love jazz. I think the only thing I don't like musically is stuff that's formulaic and written for money. That's just a cliche, same old love you, I miss you.
Pew pew.
Time. But that's the way the music system seems to be funneling people nowadays. The commercial asset, get the I'm going off piece here, and this is a conversation another day. If you want to have me back on, I'd love to talk to you about this in more detail and where some of my ideas are going as well. Because since I did the AMA with Chris, I've taken on board a lot, and I have done a lot of writing. I've got about 50 pages in a business plan now, and yeah, I mean, maybe not for now, but another day, I'd love to have that conversation with you. Get your feelings on it as well, because if I can make this right and it works for you and us all, and it brings huge volume and wealth and blah, 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 great. So I don't really want to be sort of dictating this all by myself. I want to get feedback, and I'd like to have a panel of people too. Whether you want to join the team, it's entirely up to you. It could be maybe a part-time thing once a week, or you guys just get together and shoot the breeze over 10 issues, give me some answers, and that's a collective thing, so that there's a panel there of some sorts. You know, I feel like I am absolutely on my own right now. I'm on an island, and I'm just putting all these ideas down, and then I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to get this from there to reality? I have some ideas. It'll come together. I'm not going to, I'm not going to worry about that. A friend of mine, Michael Lego, who signed Metallica back in '84, right? He's a friend of mine, and he posted out on Facebook the other day. Don't worry about tomorrow. The universe has its ways of showing you the way. Now he's a Christian. He believes in God and all that kind of stuff. I don't. I'm black and white. When I'm gone, that's it. Game over. But each to their own. But I like the idea that he said that. And as soon as he said that, which was about a week ago, I then started to find that there was natural attrition. There were certain people being drawn to me. Some of the answers were starting to come out. I'm like, wow, I'm going to have faith in the process. I'm going to have faith that there's other people around me. If I hit a brick wall, I'm going to talk to people and I'll find the answers and just. So, yeah, it's an exciting.
You're in the
time.
right place, Steve. You're in the right place for these ideas. I don't think you're going to have a problem putting a panel together. You're not on an island much longer, bro. Cool.
That would be really good, because it's not tough. I mean, at the moment, I'm sat at a computer writing forever. But what I want to do is kind of give that to you guys and go, genuinely, is this the right path? Any other ideas? I have a strategy coming together as to how it can be rolled out in smaller chunks, because what Nick said as part of his feedback was it's absolutely massive. You need to come up with something smaller. Now, I'll give you an example of a predicament that I've had, right? So I want to create this trading platform where we all chat together, all sell products together, digital assets, whatever. Could be gaming, anything. Fine. And then I'm told, well, why don't you focus on one arena within that? And then I spoke to my mother-in-law, who may be listening right now, funny enough, and she said, well, it's a bit like creating eBay and then selling beds. And I'm like, you couldn't have put it any more succinctly. If I was like, she's spot on. So I put this to Kryptonian, because he was saying, like, maybe focus on the festival thing. And then I put that to him, and he said, yeah, let me chew on that for a couple of days. I've still not had a response from Kryptonian on this, because I think he realized he's obviously busy, he's got things going on, but he hasn't necessarily found a way through that either. So I've got ideas as to how I'm going to approach this, but I'd like to get some feedback on that at some point in the near future. But when the document's ready and it's kind of something tangible to hand over to you and others,
That's cool. I look forward to that. Yeah. I could see, man, you got the gears are just going like this in your head.
It's actually it's got to the point now where I have my phone by my bed. I'll be lying there 12, 1, 2 in the morning, can't sleep because I'm fizzing with ideas, and I'll send myself emails with things to do the next day, and I've got 50 emails that I've got to go through, which are to incorporate into that. I'll give you an example. If an artist wants to release an album, then they can release the album, they can sell it by streaming it, they can sell the album as an asset you can buy to keep, so an NFT with a license to it, showing they were the first person to buy that. They can get a physical copy of the post, and then they can go, you know what, we want to do like a live stream where people will pay to have an NFT to access a live stream on Tuesday night when the band's rehearsing, and then they'll sit there and watch the band rehearse, and they'll hear a new song, and then they'll be hype about that. You see where my head's going. I imagine a painter. I watched a documentary last night. There was 2 on. One was about Salvador Dali, which was fabulous, and then after that it was a British painter who was a very avant-garde female in her 60s, heavy smoker, and she had this black canvas on the wall, right? And they started off, and she's like, no words, just looking at it, and they kept cutting between her and that. Where's she going with this? And I thought it's brilliant. And then by the end of the documentary hour, she painted it, and I could see the result of that. Wouldn't it be cool if you could follow your favorite painter and there's cameras up in the room and you're watching that person creating the latest work by that individual, and you could buy that then on the platform later. I'm just planting some seeds for other people as well. If anybody out there has any ideas along these kind of lines, how artists of any format can benefit from some of these things, then message me, tell me, because this is a melting pot now of all these things, and I'm going to put it all in there and then kind of sift it into blocks and deliver it one bit at a time until eventually the whole thing is there in place. Say no more.
Can you imagine being there in that scenario, right? You have a painter, right? Or an artist that's getting ready to, go at it on the canvas, right? And you're there, and then maybe 20 years later, that's like the next Mona Lisa or whatever, right? And you could say, I was there. I actually watched that thing as it was being created in the moment. And I got the NFT to prove it on the Vitruveo blockchain, baby.
And you have a copy of the image at the end because you've got the NFT of having been there and watched it live. You get an NFT of the art, obviously a digital version that could be blown up on a screen or whatever.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the more I dig into this, the more I'm like, wow. And I think that's what's blowing some people's heads off, is the potential so massive. It's like, how do you manage it? Well, let's just scale it right down. It's going to be a trading platform, and then we'll start adding the functionality when the money's there. If the platform trades 1 million assets in a year, and that's $1 an asset, that's $1 million. That'll pay for the rest of the development anyway, potentially. So I'm keeping it simple, but yeah, I just thought I'd kind of leave you with those thoughts. And if you have any ideas, anyone, please throw them at me. All right.
Absolutely, man. Man, I love the way you think. I think we'll go ahead and probably call it here.
Cool.
Oh, here, wait a minute. I have to put this up here. Kryptonian says, hey, bud, sorry couldn't jump on today, but always tuning in. Yeah, excuses, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll Who doesn't love Kryptonian? I love him, man. He is great. He is a really, really great guy. He's as genuine as they come, He's not, there's nothing phony about him. And
always searching for the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that about folks. That's something that draws me to people in general. To be friends and such, and strike up friendships is, are you genuine? I like to think I'm as genuine as I can be as well. I don't think I'm phony. And all these months, and we're gonna wrap up here in just a second, but all these months, this year and a half that we've been on this roller coaster with Seifu X, Vulcan, and now it's changed, and we have Vitruveo, which is great. It's a breath of fresh air. But we've gone through an awful lot, and I would say, please try to temper your patience just a little bit longer. It looks like we're right there. We're there. And there's no hype. If you've noticed, Nick doesn't do hype. It's not like the last guys that were, running the show. He's different. He likes to go with cold, hard facts. He talks about it every time he's live. He works with facts, factual information. So I think that's a breath of fresh air. And he does have a personality. I mean, he likes to joke around. He's done that on a couple of the lives, but he does like to, be focused and go, okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to give you everything that I've got up to this time. And there are some folks that's not good enough, or nothing's good enough. And to those folks, I say, try to change your tune a little bit. If you're invested in Microsoft, Apple, any, real world investments, you don't have, number one, you don't have access to the CEO or whoever the top dog is, the coup, and all the other titles, CFO. You don't have access to any of those people. Doesn't matter how much money, to a certain point, I guess, but the average investor doesn't have access to someone way up, right? You don't get to find out everything that they're doing. You get to find out what they have to tell you, the security, per the law, right? So that's what you get. That's all you get. And that's what folks have been dealing with for well over 100+ years in the stock market. Well, here in DeFi and in crypto, I should say, we have an advantage where this type of investment, you do get more direct access. I think we're fortunate that we have that. I don't want it to go away. And now that Nick has, started the different teams, the different councils, you now have your go-to people. You have a question about art, about this or about that, go into the Discord and see who it is that you need to talk to, send it to them. A lot of folks are still sending messages to Nick directly about this and that and the other thing. And he said you can do that, but he doesn't have the time to answer all the questions. And that's why we have different teams. So the leads for the different teams are who you want to be able to try to start funneling, filtering those messages to. So try to make sure that you're doing your best and ask if you don't know who to contact. And then, somebody will be able, one of the mods can definitely help you. So I would like to thank Steve for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your thoughts. Rickness was on with us for a good portion of time. Thank you, Rickness, and your really cool AR, augmented reality ideas. That I think is amazing. And if you didn't get a chance, go back and watch the whole thing, or you can skip forward if you want to when Rickness came in, and you can find out more about his augmented reality idea for a game, which I think is pretty amazing. And we had Crypto Pride was able to jump in for a little while. His hours at work changed, so he's got different times that he's available, and it was really great to have him on the show. I'd like to thank everybody for rolling with me. We're at an hour and 34 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and call it. Any last thoughts you want to share with folks, Steve, before we go?
I think you've summed it up perfectly.
Right on, man. Be thankful for the opportunities you come across in life. Love hard on your family, and always remember, chance favors the prepared mind.
Quite right.